So I posted in my YouTube community tab, my private Discord, as well as my Instagram at The Geek Apprentice, Ask Me Anything. In May. It's July. Oops. Hey y'all, I'm the Geek Apprentice, and this is a very casual Ask Me Anything video that is quite overdue. I mean, it's almost 11 p.m. at night when I'm recording this. Thank goodness for this ring light that I have. You can probably hear all of the Florida frogs and crickets outside. Can't do anything about that. And my neighbors also can't do anything about that. But this was long overdue, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very vain, I guess, because I was having a good hair day. That doesn't happen often. And also, I just completely forgot about doing the Ask Me Anything. I'm even in a sweatshirt, for crying out loud. How crazy is that? So yes, back in late May, in preparation for my 3-year YouTube anniversary, which was June 6th, I said I would do an Ask Me Anything video, as well as that other video I'll post here, which was me rewatching my very first YouTube video. I was gonna do both, and then I completely forgot about the Ask Me Anything. So some people submitted questions super late, they might get them answered. Now, whether or not I actually put the questions on the screen like I normally do, may or may not happen. But I guarantee you these are all questions. You can go to any of the posts and you'll find them. So, starting with Instagram, Katniss Kern asks, what is your least favorite popular book series? That's easy. Twilight. I just... no. So much no. Bad Wolf asks, what made you decide to do YouTube? I've answered this multiple times, I think. I like writing scripts. I like video editing. I wasn't sure exactly how successful I'd be, but I just thought it might be fun, and that's been my motivation ever since, is that it's fun. I don't make videos if I don't feel like it, which explains lots of absences I've had from YouTube. And streaming in general, especially when I'm really busy because I have a real job. Not that this can't be a real job, but I have a job outside of YouTube. This is not where I make money. Lean asks, what is your favorite video you've made and why? I would say there's 2 or 3 videos that I would pick. One of them, funny enough, is a music video I made, and that is my Safe and Sound music video. You can just not care about the end where I just talk a bunch. Don't worry about that. I'm not usually a big fan of my singing voice, and that was before I got voice lessons. I still have a long ways to go, but I was pretty proud of it, all things considered. And the other one I would say is my video on the champion themes from Breath of the Wild for each of the 4 champions, and that was a collab video I did with the Hylian Gamescast podcast people, which is Chublima, Game Over Jesse, and Capt Bergerson. And I'll link these videos down below, or have them up here, I guess. I really like that video. I love any videos I do about music, and it was really cool to collab with them, which you see in the video. I explain how in the podcast the 4 of us have a coordinating respective champion. And it's really cool. If you want to know, I'm always compared to Mifa, which is cool. I like her a lot, so that's really fun. And pretty much any video I've done in the past year that has to do with music. I love dissecting the music. But another might actually be my theory video, because I don't do many of those, about what the hand is on dehydrated Ganondorf from that first Breath of the Wild sequel trailer. You have to make sure you look at the pinned comment, though, because I needed to clarify something in that. The original Pet Squad asks, thoughts on Effie and Haymitch ship? Wasn't in the book, and it was stupid and never should have been there. Matt Fry asks, which fictional world do you want to live in? I think someone else asked this on YouTube as well. I really don't want to live in any, because none of them have my faith, and I can't imagine my life without my faith. But I would say it's a tie between the Wizarding World, because I would have no problem living as a muggle. I could live my normal day-to-day life. Or be a witch, I guess, but again, I don't like the aspect of not having my faith. I don't know how that fits into that world. It would be kind of weird. And the other one that it's tied with is being either a hobbit or an elf in Middle-earth. My brain's more like an elf, but my outer physical appearance is more like a hobbit, and I'm very aware of that. Massimo asks, as much as I know you love music and how much it means to you for storytelling, if a game has terrible music or a terrible soundtrack, does that mean you don't like it? Good question. I would say no. An example is Animal Crossing New Horizons. I love that game, but the music is nowhere near as good as previous installments. The original on the GameCube, yes, I know there was the N64 one in Japan. Moving on. City Folk and Wild World, which shared soundtracks, and New Leaf, they all of them, they have great music, and I love them. New Horizons, I'm not a fan of the music. It's still chill, I guess, but it's nowhere near as good as previous games, but there are so many things in the game that make up for it. But that's also not a storytelling game, but it doesn't fit the vibe that I'm used to with Animal Crossing. I can't think of another example off the top of my head. I mean, I never finished Cadence of Hyrule. I wanted to. I did enjoy the game, but there was a lot of like hard rock music, and I do not like it. But there were other parts where I thought the music was great, even if it was more than what I normally like. Yeah, that's hard to say, just because music's such a big deal, but also, I don't know. It might be that I wouldn't play a game if the music is not good or enjoyable, because you're having to listen to it for forever, so kind of makes sense. The Krakinator asks, are you exclusively looking for Nintendo games, or Sony PlayStation and Microsoft Xbox, do they have a chance to be a part of what you play? I have no issue with Sony and Microsoft specifically. They just don't produce games that I like. I like Nintendo games in a very limited variety too, if you've ever noticed. I mean, I played Untitled Goose Game, which is not, I got it through Nintendo, but, you know, I don't know. I play Sims. I grew up playing The Sims 2, and I play Sims 4 now, which is EA, but yeah, I'm kind of a Nintendo brat. No particular reason, I just happen to enjoy their games more. I don't like the feel or vibe of the other studios, just nothing I'm really interested in. I played Sonic for a time. Kind of. Not really. I don't know. Evie asks, what is your favorite animal and why? Koala bears. I don't know. I just think they're absolutely adorable. I have a giant koala bear plushie in my closet. Look at this. Is this not adorable? And I have a small one too. This is Opal. This is Melba, which I have the Melba villager on my island in New Horizons, by the way. I love koala bears so much. They're so cute. Mean, but cute. Also deer. They're adorable, and I relate to them because they're either really awkward in how they move, or they're graceful. And I'm a dancer, so I hope I am somewhat graceful. Hufflepuff Life 416 asks, what biblical event would you like to go back in time and witness firsthand? I had to think about this one a lot. I don't think I could handle watching Christ go through his passion. Like, I just don't think I could. I really don't. I mean, I dry heave and cry for hours after watching Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. So I don't think I would handle that very well. Funny enough, I don't think I would actually, I don't want to say I don't want to, but I wouldn't choose to go see the birth of Christ either, just because that's supposed to be a solemn moment between Joseph and Mary. And I like the mystery. I'm not sure I would even say the resurrection because, you know, I mean, it's a privilege that some of them got to witness that, but, or same with the ascension too. I think it's good for me to be challenged faith-wise in that. Maybe, and this sounds weird, the fall of Adam and Eve, the fall of humanity. There are so many questions I have about it, like what aspects are symbolic, what aspects are literal, and, you know, especially because if you know, like, the original meanings of, like, the original translations of words, it wasn't serpent, it was something like Nahash or whatever, which means, like, Leviathan. So I'm like, what does that look like? You know, was Adam actually standing right there? Because scripture makes it seem like he was right there and did nothing to prevent Eve. I don't know, so yeah, I'd be curious. That's an odd one to pick, I know, but that's what I'm going with. Dayton asks, what is the best Zelda game? In my opinion, like, my favorite always ends up being Ocarina of Time, even though Wind Waker has amazing music, Twilight Princess has a great story, A Link Between Worlds is so much fun, as is Breath of the Wild, but Ocarina of Time, I have so much nostalgia, in addition to great gameplay, music, and story. I can't objectively say. Like, even if you try to give me objective boundaries, like, which one has the best gameplay? Like, well, that depends on what kind of gameplay you like. So, World asks, do you plan on making future How to Train Your Dragon videos? Why or why not? Now, This was asked back in May, before I had made another How to Train Your Dragon video, which I did eventually do. I don't make a lot not because my hype is any less, but I haven't watched the series in a while. It takes a lot of emotional investment. And I just don't really have ideas. I know I had promised a long time ago to make like a sequel, I guess, or a part 2 to my video comparing riders to their dragons, or dragons to their riders, I guess I should say, because I really just did the main group, the teens, the kids, if you will. But eventually I'll get there. I don't make a video if I don't have the motivation or desire to. I mentioned that earlier, so hopefully that helps. Hala asks, where in Europe would you travel to if you could pick only one destination? As a practicing devout Catholic, you'd think I'd say the Vatican. And that's high up there, but I'm actually going to say Ireland. Celtic culture. It's beautiful. Even if it's going to be raining. It's going to be beautiful. I live in Florida. I know rain too well, and at least it'd be chilly there. And not like a sauna. Your hubby 182. People, y'all pick weird usernames. Do you like retro gaming? No. Moving on to my private Discord, Fry, who I technically answered one of his questions earlier too, asks, if a genie granted you 3 wishes, what would you wish for? There are things I would love to wish for that actually intervene with human free will, and I just don't think that's right on a moral level or possible. I know this is just a hypothetical and wouldn't actually happen, but just making stuff up, something that can fold my laundry for me the moment it's dry and hang it up and everything. Just do my laundry. That would be nice. Something to keep my hair from ever getting frizzy, and the ability to eat whatever I want while remaining completely healthy and fit. Some guy in my Discord, that's literally what it says. I'm pretty sure this is Elena from YouTube. When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up? And what is your favorite tea? Favorite tea, Bigelow specifically, cinnamon black tea. Has to be Bigelow though. And I don't even try to let myself have caffeine. I don't like the effect on me, but I love that one. And what did I want to be when I grew up? Back then, I would have said dance teacher and choreographer, which I am. So that's really cool to say that I actually became what I wanted to be when I grew up. But on a grander scale, I just wanted to be a storyteller. And I do that too, through acting and singing and writing and everything, and even YouTube, in a sense. I do live out what I want to be. I also wanted to be a wife and mother. Haven't gotten there yet. Cue the onslaught of really disgusting comments from weird men. Aaron, joking Batman, asks, do you have a favorite superhero outside of the MCU? No. I really don't care for DC characters. Sorry. I just never got invested. And finally, moving on to the many questions on YouTube. Ava Cleary asks, who is your favorite character from the Hunger Games? Oh my gosh, as much as I love Peeta, I actually think it's a tie between Haymitch and Finnick. Just the depth of those characters and the diversity, I guess, of Finnick, the levels to him. And also to a degree, Effie, for random reasons I can't explain, but really Finnick, Odair, and Haymitch Abernathy. Charlie Meyer asks, what's your favorite and least favorite moments from the Harry Potter series? In the books, my favorite moment, and there's a lot, might be toward the end of Prisoner of Azkaban when Sirius sends that letter to Harry and it gives him permission to go to Hogsmeade. That just kills me. I love it so much. Least favorite moment might be the whole relationship between Ron and Lavender. From the films, the one I'll say right now, because it gets me every time, is Order of the Phoenix, when Sirius and Harry are fighting Bellatrix. I think it's Bellatrix. And Sirius says, good one, James, to Harry. You know, Sirius has his flaws from not really maturing too much as everyone else in that group did. Everyone else seemed to mature, well, except Peter Pettigrew, and, you know, his time in Azkaban wrongfully. But man, did he love Harry. He loved Harry, and he just saw so much of his best friend James in it, and that moment kills me before it kills him. Another one actually from the films that is a favorite, I can't say it on here, but it's from the very last film, and it's when Jenny and Bellatrix are fighting, and she tries to kill Jenny, and Molly Weasley gets up and says, not my daughter, and then an expletive. But it's just in that moment I'm like, yes, that I just, she's already lost one kid, and just the mother bear fury in her. Like, she's just such a sweet woman, but that moment, I'm like, that is a mother. Yes, that is the power of motherhood, and why that role should be revered and not feared. Least favorite moment from the Harry Potter series, movie-wise? Half joking, half not, most of Goblet of Fire. I know that's a cliche one, but I'll go with that. Xavier, what is your favorite console, and what do you think your favorite console would be if you were introduced to all the consoles and games at the same time, with no/equal nostalgia? As much as I love the N64 and all the games it provided, I'd say the Switch. It's just so good. It's so good. It doesn't have all of my nostalgic games, but it's just so good. If I was introduced to all of them at once, I don't know. It's darn near impossible to be able to look at that objectively when I'm like, but I have the nostalgia. Like, no matter what, that's going to play a part, so I don't know. It would probably still be the Switch. Maybe the N64, just because the games are so good. Majda? Sorry. Who is your favorite Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity character to use and why? Depends on what I'm fighting. If I'm fighting a Stone Talus, 100% Zelda before she gets her sealing powers because of her bomb rune ability. Just so perfect for that. It makes it so much easier. Other than that, Link, Rivali, Mipha. Urbosa's fun too. Not really a fan of playing as Daruk. I like playing as Impa, but I use Rivali and Link a lot. Ivy Shepherd asks, what is your favorite movie of all time and what is your favorite book of all time? Favorite book will probably always be Catching Fire from the Hunger Games trilogy. It's just so good, and I have such good memories of reading it too. Favorite movie of all time? It's actually 3/6 or /5, depending on how you look at it. That Thing You Do. It's a really cheesy, kind of crappy movie, but I love it. I love it. I've loved it my whole life. Galaxy Quest, so good. It's rated PG, but it's really not PG, just FYI for parents out there. But so good. And then the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. I know that doesn't count as one, but I'm not good at the whole pick just one thing. Spyro fan asked, I'm just curious, what's the reason why you love the How to Train Your Dragon movies? That's a Pandora's box you're trying to open here? We're gonna contain it? Story, characters, music, graphics? I can't quantify it. I could try. We'd be here for hours, and you'd be bored to tears. I'd be crying too. Haley asked, if you had to marry one fictional character, who would it be? Here's the thing. The characters that I really like and would, quote, fall in love with, end up marrying someone. And I wouldn't want to intervene with that. Like, I love PETA, but he's supposed to be with Katniss. I would actually say Gale, if I had to. Yeah, he's great. I think I'd get along with him well. I think I prefer PETA's personality, but I have mad respect for Gale. And I know that he would, based on what I read in the books, he's a strong, hard-working man, and he's honorable, a little bit rebellious, like a little bit reckless. Rebellious is fine. Reckless, not a huge fan of. And he does have a big heart, so I'd probably go with him. Gold Grasshopper asks, will you ever cover Keeper of the Lost Cities? Please. Love your vids, thanks. Probably not. I'm trying to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy right now. That's gonna take some time. It's pretty lengthy, and I finally have time because it's summer. But, you know, it's taking a while. I love it. I'm still in Fellowship, though. I think I'm like chapter 6. Like, I just stopped before meeting Tom Bombadil. Or no, we just met Tom Bombadil. So, yeah, I'm not very far. Elios, what would your strategy be in the Hunger Games? Hide and pray. Mr. Hyrule asks, what is your most favorite generation of Pokemon and worst generation of Pokemon, and why? I'm not super familiar with what's from what generation. For least favorite, I'm gonna go with at least the part of the anime I don't like, which is, I want to say it's called the Unova region. I think it's based on New York. I don't know. It's the one that has that girl with like the big purple hair. Like, when I first saw her, I was like, wow, this is gonna be a really cool character. And then she wasn't. She was just annoying. And same with the guy that travels with Ash too in that one. I just don't enjoy that series, and frankly, I don't like a lot of the Pokemon. My favorite generation, I'll probably just have to say the first, even though there's a lot of Pokemon that are favorites of mine that don't come from that gen, aside from like Pikachu and Bulbasaur. Some of my favorites are like Glaceon. oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but the lightning corgi from Gen 8 and Grookey. So I'll just say the original 151. It's 150, but also 151. And Togepi's technically Gen 2, but still. Phil Sim asks, why are you Catholic? Dude, that's another Pandora's box. I always say I avoid hot topic issues, but I'm also not going to deny my faith. I will leave it at these main three things, I guess. There's lots. But I guess some of the biggest things would be historical accuracy, I guess you could say. It's the only one that can actually be traced back to Christ. The Eucharist, very, very big deal. As well as the magisterium, just the whole, just everything. I would suggest reading Scott Hahn's Rome Sweet Home. It's a good book that I'd suggest. Or watch videos from Ascension Presents, anything by Father Mike Schmitz. Again, that's a Pandora's box. But thanks for asking. Ashley, with 2 E's, asks, all-time favorite series can be book, movie, or games. Also, do you plan on playing Pokemon Snap? It's a very cute game. Again, this came out, right after Pokemon Snap came out. I think I just started playing. So yes, I do play Pokemon Snap. Played a lot on my vacation, actually. I'll answer all of them. Favorite book series, it's always going to be Hunger Games at this rate. I love Harry Potter, and I'm enjoying Lord of the Rings right now. But yeah, people think I'm crazy, but Hunger Games is extremely relevant right now, and I think people really need to pay attention. But they won't. They just call me a conspiracy theorist, and I'm like, except you can't prove me wrong, so that's a problem. Movies, How to Train Your Dragon. Games, as much as I love Animal Crossing, Zelda. Kate, can you do PETA and Katniss theory? I don't have one, so probably not. I'll think about it. Maybe I'll come up with something when I read it next. More Than Softball Sisters asks, who's worse, coin or snow? I could probably make a video about this. They're equally bad, for slightly different reasons, but just equally bad. They're both horrible. It's just both horrible. Coin shows what a certain type of government system starts as, and snow shows what it ends as. The same thing. Socialism. There's gonna be a lot of hot button topic comments on this video, aren't there? That should be fun. I usually don't respond to them. It's my own fault for choosing to answer the questions. Chris asks, what age did you start acting and dance? What inspired you to start? Or what is it that you love about them to keep doing them? I started dance when I was 8, which is later than most. I was inspired to dance when I was 5, which is when I wanted to start dancing, when I saw the First Coast Nutcracker, which is a professional nutcracker, not a community one. It had live symphony music. I would go to it every single year. It's absolutely amazing. And as far as acting, I kind of started when I was 13 because my pre-professional dance company started dance productions, which think like Nutcracker, Swan Lake, where it's a story told through dance, also multimedia, but it's also different genres of dance, and it's not just classical music. I mean, we sometimes do use instrumental. A lot of time we use instrumental music. But we started acting a lot more at that point and a lot more story-driven. Acting as far as speaking, I first started when I was 16. I've mentioned this in this video, but I've just always been a storyteller and just enjoyed taking on different characters and inspiring other people because I love that feeling when I watch a film, hear music, watch a play, and I get so invested. Reading a book, anything like that. I love getting invested, and I love giving that to other people as well. It's extremely vulnerable, but also safe at the same time because it's not me, except dance. Dance is me on stage a lot of the time in that, in the sense, my personality, and that can be difficult. Tess asks, have you ever read The Book Thief? Nope. Sarah B asks, favorite character overall? Oh! That's difficult. Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III from the movie series. I still have yet to read the books. Which the movies are not based on the books, they're inspired by the books, by the way. B, just B, the letter B, lowercase, asks, what's your favorite Hickstrand moment? Probably in Hidden World when Toothless is captured with the Light Fury and Astrid makes that comment about, you're the craziest, most stubborn knucklehead I've ever met, and Toothless didn't give you that, he just made it. And Hiccup finishes easier. I love that realization, what Astrid's been trying to get across to him, that he's been relying too much on Toothless. Toothless was a great help for bringing out who he truly is and him being confident in himself, but now he has to do it on his own. He needs to be a leader, and he shouldn't be using Toothless as a crutch. Just like Toothless is trying to not have Hiccup as a crutch as much as he loves him, and they have a great bond. That's just a really powerful moment, in my opinion. Astrid's so good at talking to him about that stuff. Like, that stuff could have easily just turned into big fights and her being petty and him getting angry and pouty, but no, there's just great communication, which is key in relationships. It really, really is. Blue Pop Music, Team Gale or Team PETA? Why do people ask this? There is no Team PETA or Team Gale, because guess what? She chose PETA, and rightly so. Love Gale, but it made sense for her to choose PETA, and she explained why. There is no team. Lauren asks, favorite Breath of the Wild moment? I would say that cutscene when Zelda breaks down after they're running through the woods and she falls like into the mud and dirt and everything. And I just think that's a really great moment. A little dramatic, but I still like it. It's also a scene that I tried learning in German, so that's fun. Different Haley, I think. Stranger Things, Divergent, other fandoms? Don't like Stranger Things, didn't like Divergent. Other fandoms, I don't think so. I think I've talked about all of them at least at some point on here that I like. At least at some point, even if it was like a compilation music, talking about music video, you know, because that's the only way I've talked about Lord of the Rings. Last question, Saffron Moon. Have you seen Christian Blanco's Tales of the Hunger Games series? Nope, and I probably won't bother looking it up, sorry. That was a downer of a last question, sorry. Or downer of the last answer, I should say. Y'all, thank you so much for submitting your questions and for watching this Ask Me Anything, even though it took me forever to get to it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, maybe check out my other videos that are like actually scripted and things like that. If this was your first video for some reason, that would be interesting. I talk about many different fandoms and do different discussion and opinion videos and top 10s and 5s and all that jazz. Reactions too. I think I'm like obligated to do one singing video a year, even if they turn out really poorly. Still trying to figure out what that will be for this year. And we're getting close to 10,000 subs, and I have a poll going on my community tab right now asking what y'all think I should do for 10,000. I mean, we're still 2,000 away. It's gonna be a while. But I've been asked more and more what I'm planning to do for it, and I don't know. I have ideas, and y'all have ideas. So, you know, I'm pretty open. I don't know what to do. We'll see. And thank you, of course, to all of my amazing patrons, especially those in the Highland tier like Code and Data, Joking Batman, and Ryan Cook. All of y'all, your support is absolutely amazing, and I'm always blown away by it. One of my patrons recently upped his monthly pledge as well, and words, and I just, y'all are amazing, and thank you so much. So that does it for this video. Probably really long, probably gonna take me forever to edit, probably not gonna put the questions on screen because I be like that sometimes. But anyway, that is all for today. Thank you for watching.